I can continue recording. So, yay, it's working. Before we'll start, because we'll have a lot of webinars, and I think we will continue educational part even on network meetings, because when I preparing these webinars, I understand that it's a huge amount of education and it's impossible to give you like anything, even in these 5 webinars. So we will continue till the end of your term, I think. So here some tips for you how to learn. People who were on the TM track on the Connect conference, I hope you remember this. If not, also one more time to refresh it. So how to learn fast? First, you need to forget. You need to forget your background to learn you the what happening right now with your study, LC, personal life, or whatever. So to be focused and to be concentrate on the information that you're receiving, and you need to forget your limitations. Because everything is possible. Maybe you just need to do it differently sometimes. You need to be active, you need to take notes and to create the notes. What is the difference? To take notes, you just copy the information which I've given you. Don't make screenshots or like don't copy the content from the PPT. I will pass it to you immediately with a video as usual. But it's important to create notes, to put your questions or your thoughts or your insights, because this is how you learn and how you learn more from the any content which you have. And as questions, any questions which you have, I will several times will ask you, do you get anything or not in the theory part. If you will have any questions, if even you think that it's stupid questions, don't hesitate to ask me. And state. It's really important to have a good emotional state for receiving this education, because this is how we form our long-term memory. If you're in the good state, in the good emotional state, uh, we perceive information much better. And last point, to teach someone, we will start with today with team standards topic, and the rest, everything will be very, very connected with the operations. So how you can learn it even more to come on EB meeting or on synergy meeting and share with your operational VP your knowledge. And we will start with theory, because this is like the basics. Somewhere we will go a bit deeper, because I'm not sure that you know the things. Somewhere I will just brief you this, because you already have it, read it, or like already got this information. And then we will understand how we can do it in practice, because we need to decide some things, to create some things, and so on. This webinars will be for keep and develop, so we will tackle each of these things. Something we will tackle very deep, because it's short topic. For example, team leader, national educational cycle, reverse recognition. Something we will tackle not so deep. For example, like team standards now, we will handle like introduction, the whole system, and then I think on network management meeting we will go deeper, because this is a lot of things inside, and you will see it today. Yeah, and this is how our webinars will be divided. Just to remind you, date. And as you see, we have webinars for keep, we have webinars for develop, and in each of these webinars, we will part of report. So how you will store and how you will work with this data on your LC. Yeah. And today we will talk about team standards. But before we'll start talking about team standards, I want you to give a bit theory, how it's appeared, and like what is the basics of team standards. It's team dynamic. When you are working with a team, we have team dynamic, because our relationship between each other, our way of working is changing. And here we have basically 4 stages forming. When you are just start working together, you are curious about each other, you are just start communicate, but here you're not really close with each other, and you perceive you're more as individual, working with some the rest of people. Maybe you also like can notice that you had this state with one of your team. Then coming storming. What does it mean? Storming coming when conflicts starting in the team. Because you're already not working as individual in the team, you start to communicate, you start to interact more with the other people in the team. And yes, because you're different people, you have different perspective, different view, you're starting to be demanded to each other, you start to have these conflicts. And storming is really, really important phase here because this is actually a show that teams start this way to performing. Because if you have forming and then team didn't have any performing, any storming phase, probably they're still in this forming stage and they are not fulfilling 100% of their potential. After storming, we have norming stage when people already get used to work with each other and if they can have conflicts on this stage but they already know how to solve it and they like start to have their working routine and so on and what is in performance stage? Team just not just used to work with each other, but they improving from like one touch point to from one team meeting to another team meeting. They improving their work and improving not only the processes which they are doing as a team, but also how they communicate with the team, how they're working with the team, how they run meetings, and so on and so on. Do you have any questions for it? Perfect. Yeah, this is team standards. How team standards look like in ISAC. So we need to have minimum one team leader, minimum two members, and they need to work with each other minimum 2 months. And we have just three phases: building, performing, and closing. How do you think which stages, including which stages of team dynamic? How do you think which stages, which will have in team standards like building, performing, and closing, uh, these stages, which team dynamic they include? For example, what include building, what include performing, what include closing? Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. Yeah, you more or less was right. Building including whole performing a whole forming stage. Performing, including storming and normal and performing, all these three stages. And usually, like in companies and team dynamics, they not put a lot of attention on debriefing the experience because usually you come to the company and you work with in this team like forever or you don't really know till what which moment you will work and so on. But in ISEC we have this deadline. For example, now deadline is summer peak. It's May or June. Depends from the timeline. And here we help people to understand, to reflect on all experience which they had before, and understand how they can use this experience in the future. Okay. What is the role of team standards? As you see, yes, we have this leadership. We have these competences, values, inner outer journey, leadership development qualities. But everything starts from team standards. If we're delivering team standards, like all touch points with needed quality, we develop leadership. It's like 16 standards in the operations. The same we have for members. We have team standards, team minimums. Yeah, let's see what is included in building here more like forming, creation of the teams, create the team, rules, vision, how they will work with each other, get to know each other deeper, and so on. To create the plan, how they will work with each other, to set the goal, to set the strategy, to understand. division of the things which they will do, and so on. An individual plan to understand, okay, how I will contribute in the team as individual, and how I will, like, which role I will play. And then in performing, here mainly you working on striving for excellence, to make your process better and better. Um, so here we have results evaluation. When we understand, okay, what we did, what we didn't do, how to make it even better. Performance tracking. This is how we understand how we're performing as a team, like weekly, monthly, how members performing, like how each of the team member contribute in the team development, and support system to make previous two things happen. We also need to work on personal development to help person to be better in their own function, to develop as a team. Also, feedback help us to understand our weaknesses and how we can work for them for the team. Um, and lead spaces to analyze our experience and understand how to make it better. And in closing, we have many debriefs. Team debrief to understand, okay, how we end up as a team. To have transition, to transit all our skills, knowledge, documents, and tools which we use to the next team. So they will not start from the zero. They will start with some base. And individual debrief, when we reflecting on our experience as individual, understand which next steps we want to have. And now how it's happening usually, because all these things we're realizing them on different touch points. And here is three type of touch points which we can have. Team experience, it's when you have team meeting, so you're working as a team. Conference and seminars, when you are developing, when you deliver some education for the group of people. For example, team experience, it's team meeting, so conference or seminars, this is how you can deliver lead, for example. The way to help people to reflect on their experience, and here you can deliver it not only for one team, but for few teams in the same moment. Virtual spaces, it's mainly virtual education webinars, for example, how we're doing right now. Also, team leaders can receive education like this, and so on, but mainly it's for educational touchpoint. Learning cycles, it's how people learn. So they have this circle of to have theory, 20% of theory, 70% of practice, and then 10% of analysis. One to one, simple. It's our individual meetings. It's how we um mainly developing people individually. And self-reflection, it can combine with some topics, but also, for example, if you have check-in on team meeting and you give your team the questions for them to a bit to reflect on the experience, it also will be self-reflection, because you're not like talking with the person and you're not thinking with this person, you're thinking with yourself. Do you have any questions here? Amazing. Going next. I will not go really deep, only if you will have some questions, because mainly you already know most of these things, like most of you. But if you will have any questions, just ask me. Building, this is the stage which should already passed in all else's. Why? Because we put most, like almost all of touch points in onboarding process. So what should already happen? Should happen transition. So your team leader, who already should be elected, get the knowledge how it was from the previous team leader or from the VP. Also, they need to have all already basics, functional skills. They need to understand how to work. They need to have team rules. Also, like team purpose, it's vision. Like they team understand for what they're striving. They have a goal. They have strategy. They understand how to achieve this goal, how to make it happen. They understand how they influence on this, which part they're playing to make the strategy happen. And timeline. They understand, okay, I'm responsible for this area. I'm working on this area. Like during this period of time, I need to do this. Budget here, not only budget, but all finance education. So people understand that they're working with the real money and with the real people. Why we as NGO need money and so on and so on. Team development goals. They understand which kind of team they want to become at the end, and they understand how they can make it happen. For example, at the end, we really want to have good personal relationships. So maybe they have happy moment each week, and they're going somewhere with each other. And individual plan, individual initial LDA, so they understand the initial level of leadership development qualities which we have. Like this is for self-aware, world citizen, solution oriented, and empowering others. And also they have their personal development plan. So they have their personal goal, they have their functional goal, they're connected with each other, and they understand how to achieve it through actions in the area of responsibility. Any questions for building? Good. We will pass very fast from through the whole theory. Performing. This is when people actually start working, but without building, accomplish, people cannot start work properly because if they don't have goal or don't have strategy or they don't know how to work with each other or they don't understand how they will develop individually through this experience, performance will not happen for 100%. So you need to be sure that building is accomplished like everywhere. Performing. Practical learning. Yeah, this is the what we also embedded now in onboarding. So people learn by practice. They have tasks and then have expected results. Working times with the team. So team working together. For me, based on my experience, there is two best team buildings ever for the teams. First, drink together. Second, work together. Seriously, for 4 years first, this is the things which is really working. And and team incentive system, it's rewards and recognition mainly, but inside the team. Um, Not all team have it, but if your team leader is mature enough, it's better to have it. Performance tracking, accountability system. So each person understand who's doing what in the team, what is their results, and so on. For us, it's mainly expa because we can see who is the manager and so on. Individual tracking meetings. I usually merge them with one-to-ones because during this one-to-one, not to have two different meetings, individual meetings in the months, but you have one when you're connecting this tracking with personal development of the member. Weekly, monthly, quarter review, mainly with the teams happening weekly and monthly. Quarter usually is not needed, but this is how they analyze what they did. They understand how they need to shape their work, and they have clear next steps. And then in these touch points, in this review, they can embed it other topics. For example, this support system. Lead spaces, they reflect on the experience. It should happen 1 time per month. It can be in team day or in team meeting. Doesn't matter. Team meetings, they include review in themselves. Team days, it's big touch point when you which should happen 1 time per month, but inside it you can have monthly review, you can have lead space, you can have feedback space, team bonding, and whatever. This is just a very long touch point with the team, and you see what like it's usually include. Also, team day can include some educational parts. You just need to understand what team needed right now. And feedback, this is how we're improving for the team and for our function. We just had feedback space, for example, with MC team yesterday. Um, is how we give feedback, we perceive feedback, and we understand how we will work on it as individuals and as a whole team. Any questions for performing? Amazing. We can start our practice part. And for closing, I don't really overwhelm you with the things which should happen because it's not really necessary right now, and we can concentrate more on performing stage, which should happen right now. And for these touch points, especially for performing, lead space, feedback space, one-to-one, team days. This is the things which we like want to create and want to understand how STM, like what STM we want to see inside, and we will work on it each of the network call during these amazing months. So for now, we need to start with team leaders because this is the people who is working on each of it, and we need to understand which role these team leaders. Spoilers. Which role team leaders are playing in team standards implementation, and also if your team leaders need any materials, how to make it happen, or you need to understand how it need to happen from team leader perspective. We have amazing blue code like then you can click on the picture in the output and you will find this amazing file when it's very cool, very clear explanation on how team standards need to happen. Give me a second, I will show it to you. Yeah, so this is book for team leaders. For unfortunately they don't have it for LCVPTM yet. So here is how exactly to make it happen and how to implement it. Each of the touch point. So you can go through it, you can share it with your team leaders, uh, and they will have like at least basic theory how to make it happen, and you need to work more on practice. How do you think? What is the role of team leader in team standards implementation? Mm-hmm. What is the role of team leader in team standards implementation? Which role they are playing, for what they are responsible. Mm-hmm. And also they need to run these touch points. Something else? Can you please repeat? I don't hear you well. Mm-hmm. So they're responsible for also quality of this implementation. Yes. Mm-hmm. And also the team leader should increase this quality because if they will doing the same things during the whole period of time, they will not have like more results. Almost it is more members engage if they will doing the same. Mm-hmm. Something else? How exactly they need to help you? Mm-hmm. Like if they you think that they also need to have any interaction with you or report or something, we can put it here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or if there any problem happening. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Something else here or it's all? People, please react. That's all or that's all or something else? Okay, we can go next then. What is role of LCPTM? What is your role in team standards implementation? How do you think? So provide education to team leaders. Something else? Mm-hmm. And I think here also support them because on this way. Something else? So provide timeline because if you know that this week it's like it was onboarding, so like this day we're doing this, but per weeks. Yes. Mm-hmm. What else? Like if you will also look at this not only in work with team leaders, but for with whom you also interact for team standards implementation. Can you please repeat? Like yes, I think it's mainly one of the tools how you can check team standards implementation. I would like to say like even cross check because if team leader tell you that oh everything is cool and member tell you oh everything is bad, so at least you have two years of for the situation. Mm-hmm. What else? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm agree here. Be persistent with implementation. Hi, who joined? Can you tell me, please? I have not seen people. Yay! We now in the we passed all theory about team standards. I'm pretty sure you know everything. We just put the team leader's role for team standards implementation, and now we are putting LCUPTM role for team standards implementation. So, what else should include your role for implementation? How you are working with the LCVPs maybe, because they also deliver these team standards, but for team leaders. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Who has to do what? Mm-hmm. So I put here Elsa VP operations. What will be the role of VP operations in Team Standards implementation? Mm-hmm. Uh, but I think this is one will be big difference that you are providing from team management perspective, and they're providing from functional perspective. Do you understand the difference? It was good question. Team management perspective, for example, team meeting. And you explain them which agenda should be from their side as like from team leaders. Okay, you need to have check-in to get to know more your team. Yes, then you have some functional part. Then like one time per month, you need to have like lead space or feedback space, or maybe after you need to go like for team bonding, how to collect team members on this team meeting, how to make it fun or something like this. And functional perspective, it's mainly okay, what should be inside team meeting as functional content about what you need to report, which data you need to put, which about which topics you need to discuss, and so on and so on. N- Now it's clear. Amazing. Uh, what is like what else is the role of operations in team standards implementation, except providing education? But it's not team standards. But they can track team leaders how they implement team standards with their teams. And like from my perspective, this is their main responsibility. They should be the first people who working with team leaders to implement team standards, like at least in the tracking part. Do they need to run these team standards by themselves? Operations? Yes, they need to implement team standards with team leaders, because team leaders their team. Like if you have like two team leaders, they're already team vice presidents and two team leaders, and vice presidents should deliver the whole team standards to team leaders. Also to have team meeting, to have one to one, and so on and so on. So they need to work with them. And yes, and also there is additional standards for vice president to work with the whole area, like area meeting. Mm-hmm. Something else for operations. They provide education. They track team leaders for this implementation. They implement team standards for leaders and for the area. Do they need somehow to communicate with you or to work with you for it? How? Hmm. So they also need to report about implementation to you. Hmm. Uh, and maybe here to create and implement action plan if you need any changes. Like this is about what you told. Hmm. Do we need to add something for TM? I think yes. I think the the main thing with what we, for example, struggled previous time. We need to track VPs as well, not only team leaders, and overlook also not only team leaders. Because this is your main power as TMs. How you implement things, you implement them through people. And first you implement, and this is like a few level of this implementation. You implement through vice president because he is finally responsible of working with department and so on. And then you implement also through team leaders. But you implement, as we already told, more from the team management perspective. But you also need to be sure that functional perspective happened as well. Maybe you're not expert, but these things like should be. And how you can be sure that it's happening, yeah, with the synergy meeting with your operations. Okay. We finished with this part, or you have any other idea what to put? Amazing. How do you think how your routine as LC VPTM should look like for team standards implementation? What you should do daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and per quarter to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So maybe like someone cannot call can come. So weekly touch point with team leaders of what should happen. So weekly touch point with team leaders, it can be call, it can be letter, it can be meeting. Like you need to understand what exactly it will be. What should happen about what should happen for team standards implementation. What else should be in your routine for team standards? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You need to review it with yourself or in the synergy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm agree better to do it bi-weekly. For example, for now for performing you have mainly March, April, May, just 3 months. And it's really just 3 months. If you will have it monthly, you will have just three meetings. And it's a bit not enough. This is why it's better to have it bi-weekly. Okay, something else to for team standards implementation. Mm-hmm. Like support team leaders. Now I start to make. I feel like I'm responsible for ICOM in ISIC in Spain because I think majority of posts which you saw it's from my side. Now I start to post things about performance management, and mainly I'm thinking about to share with them some external knowledge, like external and internal. For example, I just found really cool article on ISIC Hub about like top five things which team leaders should do. I will share with you as well. And also there is like a bunch of books about team management, how to work with team, how to develop team, and so on, which you also can share with the people. Hmm. So here can be also part of education. Uh, mhm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. For example, for me, like Isaac always was a platform for practice. And the book which helped me to understand more my leadership style was Leaders is the Last, Simon Sinek, I think. About like the completely different style of leadership. And then I implement things from this book with my team. Like at this time, it was already my department. So I also try to check the external things for your team leaders, and they will learn from it as well. Okay. What else? You need to do. What else you need to have as routine for team standards implementing? We have support team leaders with motivation, education, and courage. We have touch point with team leaders with four things which should happen, and we have bi-weekly review of team standards. Mhm. For me, mainly also what you can use icon as we did it for national level and was what I will do for performing. You can do it as well for local level. How do you think? For example, we saw it in Brazil, but like it was a really cool done. What should happen? For example, oh, today is the week of one-to-ones. This is what need to happen in one-to-one. You're not just giving them a touch point here, but also you remind them through ICOM. And you showcase, oh, like team of Andrea just had a team meeting, uh, and so on. This is how you also showcase people that are people, the rest of people that are doing team standards, how to do these team standards, and so on. What do you think? Like, will it help or it will not help to put the things for for team standards implementation in ICOM? Okay, maybe someone else can join this conversation and share opinion. How do you think will the posts in local group in Instagram and stories about how to do team standards, how team standards are happening in LC help you with implementation? Please, people. Okay, okay. I will show. I think for me, visual themes working in the best way. Um, Let me find and so on. Yeah, always here. You have your local group. As well, we have our MC group. Uh, and for example, I did it somewhere. Yeah, for example, I share with people, like what performance including. And then during onboarding, for example, I post what should happen like during each day, and we showcase in stories like team meetings, attraction meetings, and so on and so on. So this is ICOM, and this is ICOM for implementation to make everyone aware that it's happening, and so on and so on. How do you think if you will do it on local level as well, showcasing, for example, oh guys, today's time, like last week of March, you need to make a monthly review. This is what should be inside. Oh, this is a team of 4GV doing monthly review, and so on. Do you get it now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so by practice, we know that it's working, it's good. Um, when you need to work on it, like during the week or weekly or monthly, weekly. Okay. And what I advise you to do, it helped me a lot. For example, with icon management as well, to plan it monthly. For example, you have monthly review with your team. You understand, okay, this is what should happen, not only like for team standards, but overall. And then you think, okay, how I can support it during ICOM, and you're making the content plan. Okay, this week we will focus on this. This week we will focus more on like this topic, and so on. Also, not to have 100 messages for people in ICOM because it's the focus them at all. It's like GCP. Also, from marketing perspective. So content plan for. Okay, do we need something else for implementation or we are done here? Quarter, not really. Let me check. January, yes. Uh, February, March, April. No, it's not really connecting with quarters usually. But maybe also here can be reviews, like the big reviews, not only like of weekly, but how it was for the whole quarter. So maybe you will change some things for the next people and the same monthly. Something else? Okay, I think that's enough because it's just team standards, and we have a bunch of things which should happen as well. Uh, okay, and we're a bit late. Going next, team standards implementation. New tool. You will have, don't be afraid, you have just three, and I will keep it as three. You will not have any more. This is one for you to understand how is team service implementation going in your LC. In output, you will just to click on the picture. I will present you right now, and you can provide feedback. Like what do you think I should add or cut, or how to make it more useful for you, and so on. Okay. Okay, so here very simple. You have a page for your LC. And you have already put I put the EB, VP to team leader, all teams. I took it from your onboarding from National Educational Cycle checklist. For example, Sevilla had some names of the teams. I put them as well, and so on. Pampel already started working with this tool because they're on. They need to move on performance side. So here it's very simple. You have your synergy meeting. You sit with your synergy and you understand, okay, what happened, what didn't happen. We have one for building because building happened once and it should already happen. Then we had per month, like performing in March, performing in April, performing in May. And here you see the things which should happen weekly, monthly, like monthly and monthly. And you check what is like happening or what is not happening. You have it per team, even for your LCP. So you will see everything, how implementation happening, like on all levels. Also from VP to team leaders, and for each of the team. And you have like you put things here, and it's summarized per stage here. For example, I am VP. I'm Danny from Bellaterra, delivering team standards for my team leaders, and I'm putting things which is done, and you see it's changing here automatically, and you see like the percent of implementation. Yeah, and the same. Um, if you want to see big picture, how is the rest of us is doing, you're going here in big picture. I will block it right after because everything here is automatically, and if you will crash something, everything will be crashed. And everything is here collecting from your pages. For example, now only Pompeo filling, and we can see here like the big picture of Pompeo. And then it will be the rest of else the same, exactly the same as we have for National Educational Cycle because I used the same way of creation as I used for it. Do you have any questions how to use it? Everything is clear or not? Amazing. Do you want to see? Fuck my life. Sorry. I have laptop now with the sensor on the screen as well, and if I touch it, like it's clicking. I'm not used to it. Uh, so do you want to see any changes, or you think something should be add, or cut, or change, whatever? Okay. Okay, so in few weeks we will have a small space on network call. When if you will have anything or like if you're check something, especially if something is not working, not counting or something. Tell me immediately. I will fix it like as soon as possible. So you don't need to wait any space and so on. If something's not working or you think something can be better. Okay, no any changes. We will check it later. Yeah, and we almost on time. It's 5 minutes left. Do you have any questions for team standards overall? Yes, no? Okay. What will be our amazing next steps? Right after I will finish with all webinars, when we will handle like the whole keep and develop. On network meetings, we will go deeper in one-to-ones and so on, like and in topics which you need to understand deeper, and we need to create something or whatever. And for now, for you, I will share with you PPT so you can use outputs, you can use roles, routine, and so on. Especially routine you can use for your personal strategy. For example, now you can put team standards implementation as part of the strategy because you know how to make it happen from your side, how you need to interact with your operations in synergy, and so on. And you need just to feel this team science implementation and feel it till next Tuesday. So on network meeting, we will have data already for building and for performing, which is starting. And I can operate with it also for analyzing engagement surveys. Okay, everything is clear. Yay!